it's Rachel. I'm here for my FlossTube update for January and February. I didn't do one in January because I only worked on one project, so it really wasn't worth making a video for. But I've been continuing to stitch and make some quite good progress, I think. I'm carrying on with Whip Go. I've kind of abandoned Magical Stitches group a little bit because a lot of the prompts really require starting new projects, and that's not what I want to do this year. I want to try and whip down a bit and get some finishes, so not really bothering with that group for right now. I have joined another group which is, what's it called, Hell's Stitching, like Hell's Kitchen. It's kind of stitching for ingredients and recipes to make orders, and you can stitch whatever you want. It's quite good fun, so that's on Facebook if anybody's interested. If I remember, I'll put a link to the group in the video description, but you do need to be part of a crew of 4 people. So there's like 4 people on a team, so if you join you might have to wait until some other people join. I had to wait, but it was only like a day, so you might get lucky. Anyway, the stitching. So as far as Whip Go is concerned, I kept the same goals as last year, as I've already said. And the first numbers that were called, one was the Marjorie Baston piece, which I showed on my last video. So I finished that one. That was a January piece. And the other one was this one here, which is a pattern I bought from mybobbin.com. It's by Anna Petunova, and it's called Old Castle Stories. So this was a piece that I'd started for Mania in 2020, and I'd only done, I think I'd done most of the window because it's only in half stitches, and some of the brickwork. I think about at least 500 stitches, because that's what I did for all my Mania projects, and then I don't think it got picked up again, so the rest of it needed doing, and I did achieve that. So I've got a finish here for this project. I'm really pleased with how it came out. It looks quite intense with all the back stitching, but it wasn't that bad to do, to be honest. It was quite easy back stitching. It wasn't the back stitching that I find difficult is when it's between stitches, kind of what I call fractional back stitching. I'm not sure whether that's the correct term for it, but it reminds me of fractional stitches where you're going between the you know, your normal 4 squares. So this was pretty easy to do. The only thing I think that made it complicated for me is, I'm sure this doesn't apply to everybody, but there's a lot of half stitches and then full stitches, but some of them are in the same colour. So I always find it difficult, because if I go across, I want to come back and cross them all. So the amount of ones I had to take out because I'd crossed them by accident when they were only supposed to be half stitches. But yeah, that's the only thing. There's a couple of blends in it. Not that many colours, I don't think. I'm just trying to give you a close-up view. The candle is really nice, I think, and the pumpkin obviously. And I think the book looks really good as well, with all the what looks like old wrinkly pages due to the back stitching. It's stitched on a 28 count Jobelan in, the colour was grey, but it's more like it's a very warm grey. It's more of a beige grey, but it goes really well with the colours that were part of the design, I think. So that's that piece. And if you just want to see the colours, it is a Russian design, so it is all in Russian, but it's dead easy to understand. There your full stitches, your half stitches, and then back stitches. And you can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blends on there as well. So, and the size is 118 by 83, and it's charted for DMC. So that's just a bit of information if anybody's interested, and again, it's from my bobbin. So the February numbers then. February called for 2 projects, and one was Cathedral Woods Goddess by Mirabilia, and the other one was another pattern I bought from mybobbin.com by a company called Fun Sheep. So one of them I achieved the goal on, the second I have not. But this is a finished Cathedral Woods Goddess. So Mirabilia pattern. I think it came out 2020, was it? I'm not sure if there's a date on them. I don't know, but there's the floss colours. There's I'll talk about there's quite a few beads and treasures and things on here, and Krynic. So there's 3 different types of Krynic, but one of them there's 3 spools needed. And then for the floss, one of them says 2, but I didn't actually use 2, so I'll talk about that as well. I've stitched her on Lugana, so I got Lugana in a cream colour. I think the number is 264. It's often sold as ivory as well. I'm not sure if I can get the full view of her in. Let's see if I can do that without messing up the whole camera. That's kind of, yeah, that's as high as I can go, so I'm not going to get her all in, but I will bring her closer so that you can see her anyway. So when I started this was another Mania piece. I had just done her antlers and part of her hair, and that was it. And the rest of it I picked her up on the 16th of February, finished her on the 28th, bang on. So all of it was done then, including the beading. I think I took 2 days for the beading. So I'm not sure how's the best way to show this. I don't have anything to go at the back of her. Maybe the pattern. And I'm not sure if it'll capture how sparkly she is. Let me put a light on and see if that makes a difference. I'm not sure if that does or it doesn't, but anyway, you can see all the beads on her. You can see a bit of sparkle from there. So the treasures, there's these bicone treasures, and there's some green ones, and then there's 2 little leaves, one on each side of her antlers, and then of course there's these teeny weeny, these are like a Abris purple petite bead, and these coppery coloured ones, and then there's more coming down. And then she is absolutely covered in beads, so there's more. This is another type of bead again. And then these little leaves, they're stitched in one of the water lilies, so it's variegated between a purple, a grey green and a green, maybe a blue purple as well. And then there's little tiny, I think they're like a silver lined aqua coloured bead. And then there's her dress here is all pretty much copper Krynic, and there's 2 treasures, one of them's on her necklace there. I knew there's 3 down here, and there's all tiny little petite beads as well on there. And then the brown coloured leaves coming down, and mostly there's 2 types of Krynic, and this is, the brown is another water lily, so it variegates between a kind of chestnut brown and a more smoky brown colour, and they come all the way down, and they're pretty much the leaves with the water lilies are all lined with these copper coloured glass beads, and again the little aqua ones. And then her main dress beyond that bodice part is all these beautiful green, teal, aqua colours, and then again these little petite purple beads with Krynic in the middle. So I'm really happy with how she turned out. It was a lot of work in a very short space of time, so I think, I don't know what's, actually it's the 17th that I started her on, because I finished the Old Castle Stories on the 16th. 17th to the 28th, is that 10 days more or less? So maybe just over a week with stitching, and then the beads were, I think I did 1.5 days, and then the afternoon I finished stitching her. I put a few beads in as well, but not that many, so probably about 2 days total for beading. And I remember one day I put in 1,100 beads in one day, and the only reason I knew that is because I was counting them for a group challenge. But that is her, and one last look at her pretty face. So I'm just noticing a couple of beads look like they've moved there, and that is because the little monster that I bought that I introduced you to keeps jumping on my stitching. So I've actually had to lock her in another room, because I've tried to do this video 3 times and every time she pounces on top of the table, so I've had to lock her up, lock her away in another room in the house for 20 minutes. So Lord knows what she's destroying. But anyway, so really happy with 2 finishes, considering I think that's all I did for the whole year last year. So next project then, next projects. Right, so the other one that was called for this month, which I haven't finished, is this one here. And yeah, I've not brought the full pattern through, but I have shown it before. This is by Fun Sheep. I've done loads of work on it, but it's all been in the last 3 days, which this was a February goal, not a March goal. So the first 3 days of March I've been working on here. I've done quite a lot. I've started to put some back stitch on the crow, and I've done the key. I've done loads. Most of this wasn't here. The back stitch, the key, I'd only stitched maybe down to about here on the crow. That house was done, but no back stitching. This was partially done, the little clock, but now it's fully done. There was a tiny bit on the lighthouse, but not very much, so most of it is new in the last few days. I love this piece, and because I'd spent all that time stitching Cathedral Woods Goddess to the last day of February, this one hadn't got touched, which is why I wanted to try. My goal for this was to do half of it, so halfway through the pattern is somewhere here, I think. So there's just basically this bit to fill in, but I'm really enjoying stitching on it. It's on 32 count Murano, just in white, and I'm really liking stitching on it, so I'm wondering whether I might continue with this and either meet my goal or finish it completely and swap it with one of the ones that have been called for March. But anyway, that is the project. Yeah, I might continue. Well, I'm going to continue with it for today at least, and we'll see what happens, because the goal isn't met, and that'll annoy me because I can't turn it green on my spreadsheet. So the one I'm thinking of swapping it with, which is one of the ones called for this month, is this one, which is my huge project, Fairytale Village by Abris Art. It's massively long, so my goal for this one is to get 2 houses done. The first one is almost complete. You can't really see because it's such a poor chart, but and there's another one here. That's a huge amount of stitching, but this project is on whip go 3 times, so I haven't worked on it. I've just brought it to show you this is what's been called, and I really do like it. You can't see the top of the house, unfortunately, because the Q-snap isn't wide enough or tall enough. My favourite bit is this little guy reading his paper, which you couldn't tell what it was at all until the back stitch was there. So because it's got two more slots on the whip go board, I'm thinking stick with the Fun Sheep project, the Crow, Key to the World it's called, and leave this one until next time it's called. So let me know, what would you do? Would you carry on with your goals until they're finished and then kind of play catch up, or would you just write it off and go on to the next project? The other one that's been called is this. This is an anchor kit called Field Mice and Poppies. Again, I started this for Mania in 2020. I really like this. I love British countryside images, and Anchor do loads of them. So I've got loads of magazine charts that I've got in my stash to do, but this one was a kit. I changed the fabric because I wanted to do it on I wanted to do it on even weave, so this is 28 count, I believe it will be, I think, and that is all I've got. So I've got the border across the top, so it's only, well, the border's that wide, it does extend a bit. The ears of corn come outside of the border, but not much, and some of the poppies, yeah, and that little ear of corn. And the goal for this is a finish, which you think it's not that big, but I know that Anchor have the most ridiculous back stitch. They do use fractional back stitch, so if it was on the Ada, I know for a fact you'd be stabbing through the middle of those holes, which is another reason to put it on even weave. But you never know, it might surprise me, it might not be like that, but yeah, in my experience, Anchor kits are definitely challenging with the back stitch. So they are what I've worked on and what I'm going to work on, so hopefully that will be a finish next time. I'll probably leave this one until it's called again, because the goals are for the whole year. They don't have to be met this month just because they're on the board this month. I'll probably continue with this one and get it to the halfway stage at least. I don't know, maybe I'll just take the first 2 weeks of March, do this, and then move on to the field mice. So I think that's everything. That is what I call pretty good progress, considering both of these finishes. I know this one's only small, but you know, the amount of work on the back stitch. I mean, it wasn't difficult, it was just a lot of it. And some of it is in, I never said this before, some of it is in single strands and some of it's in 2 strands, so you had to keep kind of swapping and changing. Oh, now here, I almost forgot to talk about the threads and beads and things for this one. So what I wanted to share was what I have left, because if you think of stitching this, and I bought the bead pack, I didn't buy it individually, but I'll show you what I've got left, and then you can decide whether you want to buy the bead pack or buy individual things. So first of all, the floss that you needed 2 for was 3848. Now I did mine on 28 count fabric rather than 32. It calls for 32 count, so you would expect that I'd need more floss than is called for, not less. So I bought the 2 skeins. This is how much I've got left. These were 2 full skeins, because I always buy, if a project calls for 2 skeins of something, I always buy from Newing so I don't have dye lot issues. But there's still, I mean, it's on the thin side, but it's not bare, so there's still quite a lot left there. So you definitely do not need 2 of these, even if you work it on 28 count fabric. So that's 3848. Then for the beads, you definitely need 2 packs of this one. I know it looks like there's a lot in there still, but you definitely need, so this is 03039. You get 1 pack of this, and 1 is plenty. There's a fair few left, not that many, so you know, don't be careless with them. But so that's the little blue one, it's 03055. The purple ones you want to get 1 off, and again there's plenty in there, plenty left. You do end up with 2 of these green bicones left because you don't use them all. So I've seen some people have just put them on the project anyway, but I've kept them in case I want them for something else. And then these little tiny ones, 42028, these petite ones, you only need 1 of these. There's loads of those left. I'll tell you something else as well. I stitched onto here all these beads around here in these petites by accident, and on this side, and had to take them all out. About 300 beads had to come out. These ones, so it says you need 3 packs of these. I've used 1.5 packs. That is a full pack unopened, and that is my second pack. There's loads left in it. So I don't know whether you save anything or not by buying the embellishment packs. I got mine from Arts and Designs in the UK, and they're quite competitively priced. But if you're buying them individually, don't buy 3 packs of these. You definitely don't need them. And the same with the floss. So I just thought I'd share that in case anybody else is looking to stitch her. The cry neck, I'll show you the cry neck as well, I might as well. And then, so you need 3 of these, are 202 HL, you need 3 of these, and you definitely need the 3. It is pretty full, but there's a fair bit come off it. This is the copy, it only calls for 1, there's a fair bit left, but I suppose if you did loads of frogging you could possibly run out of. The one that's really tight is this one here. You can see there's like literally a strand left. This is 102C, it's the pale gold. So just be careful with this one. I was saving anything that, you know, if I cut off a length and it was that long, I'd save it in case there was the odd stitch here or there, and then I'd use it up. So if you see what, these are all my bits and pieces that I save in case that's still in the box. I think that's everything. So hope you enjoyed it, and I'm really hoping I get the same progress again this month. Thanks for watching, and happy stitching. Bye bye.